Hey everybody, welcome back to day 3 of Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are here at Clash Endurance Miami, and I think a couple of athletes who are a little under the radar. A couple of Kiwis who just came off of a 7th at the Couples Championship last weekend, Samantha Kingsford and Mr. Sam Osborne. Samantha, let's start with you. This is a little different than being up at altitude and on trails. Have you done much road?
This is my first, long course race. I've never done one before, yeah.
But you look at what you did in 2021, USA, XTERRA, you won the 3 majors, three U.S. majors.
Yep.
And how long have you been into the XTERRA scene?
I started racing in 2018, so I guess including COVID year, I'm going into my 5th year of racing.
And what got you into it?
Probably this guy. Yeah.
And how did you guys meet?
My twin sister, she used to do triathlon, and she used to travel overseas with Sam, with New Zealand, and then we were at the same university together, so that's really where we met.
And what was your athletic background before that? Was more team sports?
Yeah, I wasn't really into triathlon until my university years.
Yes.
I guess most typical New Zealanders, we do a lot of sport, winter and summer sports, and I did a lot of them when I was at high school. But I didn't really pick up anything to do with triathlon until I was at university. So I guess I was a late starter.
And what is it about XTERRA that resonates with you?
I think that's a good question. I think there's a lot of variety.
Yes.
There's so much that can come into play with, I guess, skill. You got to be a strong climber. You got to be able to descend well and ride the trails smoothly, and also you got to be able to run on different surfaces.
Right.
So I think the variety is what has drawn me to XTERRA.
And have you had a chance to ride this course?
Yeah, I've done a few hot laps on the course.
With your time trial bike? Does it feel weird?
It's a bit different to an XTERRA riding your mountain bike.
Yes.
Holding that aero position, it's not exactly easy.
But the cool part is, for a mountain biker, is with that road course, there's bike handling. It plays a role. It'll be windy. It'll probably be hot. So if the conditions are crappy, you'll do well.
Yeah, well, pre-coming here, we thought that it was just going to be sitting in the TT bars for however long, 60 Ks.
Yes.
And it wasn't until we were at the couples race that everyone actually said, no, it's actually quite technical. There's a few corners.
Yes.
So that made us feel a little bit better.
Well, I remember last year we were talking to Jan Frodeno right after he got off the track, and he goes, this is awesome. This is going to be really a true test because it's not just sitting and pushing power. It is being able to handle, being able to corner, all that cool stuff.
Yeah. So I think, some of the roadies might be a little bit scared of those corners. I don't know, but
it
seems a little bit tame.
You won't.
No, compared to what we're used to.
So, Sam, let's go over to you. We're talking at XTERRA Worlds. You've been 6th, you've been 3rd, you've been 4th. Talk a little bit about when you got into all this crazy stuff.
I raced ITU for a wee while. But I grew up in Rotorua, and that's world famous for mountain biking.
Yeah.
So it just kind of seemed like a natural progression. I didn't probably swim quite fast enough for ITU. And what other format of triathlon was there? And we've got a really good XTERRA at home. So I picked up a mountain bike, which I always did do.
Yes.
And went okay at them, and thought, well, why don't I take my mountain bike to Europe along with the road bike and do a few? And here we are now racing XTERRA full time.
That is so cool. And what do you look at as your best performances?
I think always your probably world championships are your big ones. I've had a 2nd and a 3rd at Cross Tri Worlds. I've had a 3rd, and like you said, a 4th in Maui. The top step, always kind of eluded me so far.
Yes.
But hopefully now with world championships changing, we're going to race on a range of courses, and I think that'll bring out, hopefully some more technical courses, and that'll suit a different kind of athlete.
We were talking about that yesterday, is that for obviously forever, just like Kona, the world championship for XTERRA was on Maui. But it had moved a couple different times, and now it's going Italy?
It is, yeah. So it's heading across to Malvino, Italy, which is another, super famous place for mountain biking.
And that's you like that?
Yeah, look, I mean, like I said, I came from Rotorua. The more technical the course that I can get, I want to see hectic rocks, roots,
You want to see it all.
Yeah, I want to see, as technical as possible. That would suit me down to the ground.
Now, were you guys able to go to XTERRA Worlds this year, or were you not?
Unfortunately not. We had a great year in America, but with New Zealand and the MIQ system, we had to take our spot when we got it, and our visa didn't allow us to come back with the risk of being stuck in America.
How hard was that to see it happening and not be there?
It was so difficult, to watch the race. I think Samantha and I, we both had an incredible year in America. We won everything that when we were overseas.
Now, did you win the Triple Crown as well?
Yeah, we did.
Look at you guys. Both of you. Double Triple Crown. Sam and Sam. I love it. And you got to beat, Sam Long was just here, and you knocked off Sam, who's had a phenomenal season as well.
He did, yeah. That guy's strong, eh? I don't think people do know that he actually did start out with XTERRA. But dog with a bone, eh? Like, that dude just does not give up.
Never.
Never, ever.
No. I think what people, what's sort of interesting is people will look at times and they'll go, okay, he ran 39 minutes at Beaver Creek, wherever it was. And, 39 minutes for a 10K, I can do that. But they don't quite understand that. What altitude are you? You're up at 10,000 feet? Something like that?
Something like Beaver Creek. I have to talk in meters. 3.2 is the top of the bike course.
Yeah.
Which, in perspective, that's what Air New Zealand flies at in New Zealand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's some big altitude. And the terrain you're running on, sometimes you're being thrown up mountains,
yes.
Quite literally. So 39 minutes for a 10K, that's pretty bloody quick.
It's very quick. So, Samantha, talk a little bit about what makes this guy good at what he does.
That's a hard question as well. I guess he's determined. He, always striving to be the best he can.
Yeah.
Whether that's on and off the race course. I think that's what makes him the athlete that he is today.
So when you watch the Olympics and see Flora Duffy winning the Olympics, and her roots are XTERRA, right? Right?
Yeah.
And does that make you think, road try, that's not a bad thing. Maybe I should do a little few more of those.
Yeah, this year's our first year coming to the road scene. We had thought about it last year. Obviously with COVID, there were limited XTERRAs that we came over to. Flora's shown that she can come across and do XTERRA and do well on the road. The Olympic stuff, I think that's, I'm not really interested in that. I'm not really interested in that.
The longer.
I think that's, I'd like to do both XTERRA and long course.
So talk a little about cross-tri, because I think a lot of people don't know. They know XTERRA, but they don't really know much about X-Tri. Is that shorter? Is it more loops? How does that work?
It's exactly the same format. It's just under ITU.
Okay, so they're putting on XTERRA races under ITU.
Yeah. There's not as many, though.
Right. And is it part of the Olympic program yet?
No.
Not yet.
No.
That's a push, though.
Yeah, hopefully.
That would be that would be cool. What are your goals for this year? How will you balance between XTERRA and road?
Well, we're going to head to Europe to race the XTERRA scene over there.
Yeah.
As Sam said, with Worlds being changed, it makes more sense for us to go to Europe.
Yeah.
And there's just a consistent block of races there that we can have. So I think we'll start the year off with some XTERRA, and then after Worlds, hopefully maybe come back to America and do some of the later 70.3s.
I like that. And Sam, for you, obviously the same type of thing, but will you also try to mix in some 70.3s? And how do you balance the training for both?
Look, it's definitely the plan. We've gone and purchased ourselves some time trial bikes now, so we're going to try and make the most of it.
So now when you travel, man, you need a Sherpa. You got a road bike, a mountain bike, a TT bike. What the hell?
Yeah, look, we're taking applications. Not sure we'll pay well, but you get to hang out with a couple of cool Kiwis.
Yes, you do.
But yeah, look, the next block will be very XTERRA focused, and then later on in the year, I think we'll probably come back to the USA side, and I think just race ourselves silly in the road scene. Why not? It's the end of the year. You can always have a rest afterwards.
So this distance is a little longer, right, than what you do, but time-wise, it's probably pretty not that much more. What do you think from riding this course?
It's funny. Everybody says like the course is really, really technical, and I rode out there and I thought, the course just has corners.
But for triathletes, that's technical.
Yeah, maybe for these half Ironman guys, it is technical. But to be honest, it does make me a little bit nervous. I think having come from the mountain bike, while we're used to going around corners and hitting them really, really hard, also very happy with being in control sliding.
Right.
And if you get a time trial bike sliding, I don't think you're in a good place.
No, you don't want to be, you don't want to be sliding there.
So I don't know. Sometimes maybe it might stitch us up. We'll see. But
how much time have you spent on the TT bike?
only a couple of months really. So yeah, it's still pretty new. And look, I'm not going to lie, we're still definitely trying to get used to just sitting in the aero bars for sustained periods.
But it's got to be pretty fun because you've got Ironman folks, you got 70.3 folks, XTERRA folks, and and then people coming off the Olympics. It's such a cool mix of athletes.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It excites me to look at the start list like this,
Yes.
and you've got, I guess, triathletes from all disciplines of the sport.
Yeah.
I almost feel like we're flying under the radar, or there's not as much pressure
No
on
question.
us.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to see, what we can do, and where do we kind of slot in this kind of discipline.
How do you see Samantha do?
Yeah, I think she'll go well, actually. It is still swim, bike, run. The fundamentals of it doesn't change. And, like you said, everybody calls it a technical course. So hopefully that'll break up the rhythm of the people who just sit in the bars and push massive power.
Great. And how tough was it for you guys during COVID when you were so isolated, right? You couldn't go anywhere. People couldn't come there. Yeah, you can go do some races, but there's just the same people every weekend.
Yeah, we struggled, eh? I mean,
Yes.
we'd be lying if we said we didn't struggle. Like you see, like in New Zealand, we did very well in managing it.
Yes.
But that meant that it was nigh on impossible to come back into the country if you left, which is always a dangerous game, when you're playing with visas overseas.
Right.
And we're from New Zealand, we don't have massive financial backing in behind us. But look, we found various things to keep us motivated. We've got a big mountain bike race back where I live. It's 100k marathon, and it's always around the same time as World Champs. So that's something I've always wanted to do. I guess just a personal thing,
Right.
to line up against the mountain bikers. And for once, I actually did like a proper mountain bike build up for this. And I enjoyed it. Like I love that kind of thing, stage
Sure.
racing,
Yeah,
the marathon
yeah.
mountain bike stuff. It's different, and I guess we just thrive off, challenges like that.
So are you both running in graphite with graphite plate in your shoes?
Yeah, absolutely. Both.
And what do you think?
I think game changer. Yeah, no doubt about it. That's a fact.
And you noticed them right away, first time you put them on.
100%. Yeah, even like just go for a 30-minute jog, you can feel the difference.
Right. And for you, Sam,
Yeah.
same type of thing. You put those things on and like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because we always thought we knew technology would help in wetsuits. We knew technology would help on the bike, but run was okay. Running is just a personal preference, what shoes you like, but shoes make all the difference now.
They make a huge difference, as Sam was saying, even just going for like a little jog in them.
Yeah.
And I think also, like after having raced in them, your
Yeah.
calves, your legs aren't as sore. I think it saves your legs. So potentially that's why everyone's able to maybe back-to-back races more consistently.
Right.
But yeah, huge game changer. I think if you're not in them, it's a huge disadvantage.
Well, it's funny because I would have thought, especially on the trails, that because they would be maybe a little more unstable. But it sounds like they make a difference on the trails as well.
Oh yeah, I guess it depends too on like the course. If it's very very rooty and quite
Right.
technical, there's probably no point in having them on.
Right.
But yeah, if there's only a little bit of that, and there's parts where you can actually get into a good stride, I think definitely worth still having them on in XTERRA.
Love it. Thank you both for taking time and chatting. It's such a treat to. I love some of my favorite folks to interview ever. John Walker, Rod Dixon, all these amazing New Zealand athletes, because there's just, New Zealand athletes have to work so hard just to get to the U.S. and get to Europe. It's not like you're coming here for the weekend.
No.
It's a big commitment,
Yeah.
especially when you're young and you're leaving your family and you got to leave for 6 months. Australians and New Zealanders have a huge commitment to be professional athletes.
Yeah, it's not an easy job, but yeah, we do it.
But you love the racing.
Oh,
you
we
love
wouldn't
the
be here
people.
if we didn't love it.
Do you notice a difference between the pros in terms of XTERRA and in the road, or is it too early?
Yeah, I think
More of a family in XTERRA?
Yeah, I think it's a bit more of a chilled vibe, maybe.
Yes.
But I mean, maybe that's because we're nervous and this is a new environment to us. But yeah, I think XTERRA's our
That's your
bread
baby.
and butter.
Yeah, yeah.
And we probably feel a little bit more relaxed in that environment.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess we'll see how we go by the end of the year, how we feel then.
Thank you both for taking time. Such a treat to get to meet you and chat with you.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks, Bob.
Pleasure again, Samantha Kingsford and Mr. Sam Osborne. They will be out there on Friday again. This is Breakfast with Bob. We are at beautiful Clash Endurance Miami. Hold on. We will be right back.